Hello and welcome. Get ready to hear an amazing story today. It's about Thomas Edison, the man who made the light bulb shine bright. But his journey wasn't easy. He faced many struggles. He failed many times, but he never stopped. Edison's story will inspire you to never give up, no matter how hard life gets. Let's dive into his journey and see how he became a legend. From darkness to light, the unbreakable spirit of Thomas Edison. Thomas Alva Edison was born on February 11, 1847, in a small town called Milan, in Ohio, USA. His family was not rich, and they lived a modest life. His father, Samuel Edison, worked many different jobs, but they were never wealthy. His mother, Nancy Edison, was a teacher, and she loved reading and learning. Thomas was the youngest of 7 children. Being the youngest, he had a lot of time to himself. This gave him the chance to think and explore the world around him. While most children played outside, Thomas loved to stay inside and figure out how things worked. His curiosity grew every day. As a young boy, Thomas loved to take things apart. He would carefully take apart his toys and clocks, just to understand how they worked. Sometimes, he couldn't put them back together, but this never made him give up. Every mistake taught him something new. He was learning all the time, and his curiosity never stopped. When Thomas was 7, his parents sent him to school. But school was not easy for him. He had trouble reading and writing. His teachers thought he was a slow learner. They even called him addled, meaning confused or not very smart. This made Thomas feel sad, and he started to believe that he wasn't good at school. One day, Thomas's teacher told him he was too slow and sent him home. When his mother, Nancy, found out, she was very upset. She knew her son was smart, but the way they were teaching him at school was not working. So, she decided to teach him at home. At home, Thomas's mother helped him learn in a way that made sense to him. She encouraged him to read books, ask questions, and explore new ideas. She never told him to stop being curious. She helped him build his love for learning. With his mother's help, Thomas became more confident. He read many books, including ones about science, history, and different countries. He began doing small experiments at home. He tested things like how magnets worked and how electricity could flow through wires. He loved learning, and his curiosity only grew stronger. When Thomas was 12 years old, he realized he needed to make money to help his family. He started working on a train that traveled between cities. On the train, he sold newspapers and candy to passengers. The long train rides gave him the chance to earn some money, and he became good at it. But Thomas didn't stop at selling newspapers and candy. He was always thinking of new ideas. During the train rides, he even built a small laboratory in the baggage car. There, he experimented with science, even though he didn't have the best tools. Sometimes, things didn't go well. Once, while experimenting, there was a fire, and the conductor kicked Thomas off the train. But Thomas didn't let that stop him. He wasn't sad for long. He simply moved on to the next idea, continuing his experiments. No matter what happened, he remained focused on learning and discovering new things. His determination was unbreakable. Thomas Edison always loved science. He believed that everything in the world could be understood if he just worked hard enough. When he was a teenager, he began experimenting with chemicals and machines. He read books about electricity, magnetism, and many other scientific topics. His early experiments didn't always work out, but Thomas never gave up. For example, he built a telegraph machine to send messages over long distances. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. He then started experimenting with batteries, trying to make them last longer. Thomas's room looked like a small laboratory. It was filled with wires, bottles, and many other things that helped him with his experiments. He even built a small electric motor using simple materials. Although most of his early experiments were failures, Thomas kept learning from his mistakes. He often said, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that do not work." When Thomas was a teenager, he got a job as a telegraph operator. The telegraph was a machine that sent messages using electric signals. It was a very important technology at the time. Thomas quickly learned how to use the telegraph, and he worked in several different cities. Working as a telegraph operator helped Thomas learn more about electricity. He realized that the messages sent by the telegraph were actually electric signals. This gave him ideas for new inventions. In his free time, Thomas continued experimenting with new ideas. Sometimes, he worked on making the telegraph machine faster or more efficient. His interest in electricity grew, and he began to dream of becoming an inventor. After his time as a telegraph operator, Thomas Edison moved to New York City. He hoped to find new opportunities as an inventor. However, life wasn't easy for him at first. He didn't have a lot of money, and sometimes he had to sleep in a basement to save money. But Thomas was determined. In New York, he began working on new inventions. One of his first successful ideas was the stock ticker, a machine that could send stock prices over long distances. It was a big success, and a company bought the stock ticker for $40,000. For someone who had struggled in the past, this was a huge amount of money. However, not all of Thomas's inventions were successful. Some of them failed, and people laughed at him. But instead of giving up, Thomas saw each failure as a lesson. He learned from his mistakes and kept going. He believed that failure was just a part of the invention process. One of Thomas's first big inventions was the electric vote recorder. It was a machine that could record votes much faster than humans could. When he showed the machine to government officials, they were not interested. They thought the machine was too fast, and they didn't believe it was necessary. This was a difficult moment for Thomas, but he learned an important lesson. He realized that inventing something clever wasn't enough. People had to want it. This lesson helped him in the future when he created inventions that people truly needed. In 1877, Thomas Edison made one of his most famous inventions, The phonograph. The phonograph could record sounds and play them back. It was the first machine that could talk. This was a huge breakthrough. People were amazed by the phonograph. No one had ever seen anything like it before. Newspapers began calling him the Wizard of Menlo Park, referring to his laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey. Everyone wanted to see the magical machine that could record and play back voices and music. The phonograph was an enormous success, but Thomas didn't stop there. He continued to work on improving the phonograph and developing other inventions that would change the world. As Thomas continued his work, he became famous for his contributions to electricity. He believed in using direct current, DC, which sends electricity in one direction. But another inventor, Nikola Tesla, supported alternating current, AC, which could change directions and travel longer distances. This led to a famous battle of currents between Thomas and Tesla. Tesla, with the help of George Westinghouse, developed AC as a better option for electricity. Edison tried to prove that DC was safer and better for homes and factories. In the end, AC won because it could carry electricity over long distances, making it cheaper and more practical. Even though Thomas lost this battle, he didn't give up. He continued to believe in the importance of electricity and kept working on new projects. The light bulb is perhaps Thomas Edison's most famous invention. Before him, many people had tried to make a light that would last long enough to be useful, but none had succeeded. Thomas and his team worked hard for years, testing more than 6,000 different materials to find the right one for the filament, the part of the light bulb that glows. Finally, in 1879, Thomas and his team succeeded. They created a light bulb that could burn for hours. This was a huge moment in history. The light bulb changed everything. It lit up homes, streets, and workplaces. For the first time, people could live and work in the dark without the dangers of fire from candles or gas lamps. Thomas's invention had a lasting impact on the world. After inventing the light bulb, Thomas Edison didn't stop. He knew that for his light bulbs to be useful, they needed to be connected to a power source. So, he turned his attention to creating an electrical power plant. This plant would generate electricity and deliver it to homes and businesses. In 1882, Edison opened his first electrical power plant in New York City. This was a groundbreaking moment because it provided electricity to homes and businesses for the first time. It was a massive success, and people were amazed at how this new invention could power their lights, machines, and more. The power plant used direct current, DC, electricity, which Thomas believed was the best option. Over time, more and more power plants were built in different cities, helping to spread electricity across the country. This was one of the most important contributions to modern life, as it changed the way people lived and worked forever. While Edison was busy building his power plants and making the world brighter with electricity, he faced fierce competition. One of his biggest rivals was Nikola Tesla, who had moved to work for George Westinghouse. Tesla and Westinghouse believed in alternating current, AC, which could travel longer distances and deliver electricity to more places than direct current, DC, which Edison used. This disagreement between DC and AC became known as the War of Currents. Edison strongly believed that his direct current was safer and more reliable, while Tesla and Westinghouse promoted alternating current as the future of electricity. Edison even went as far as to publicly criticize AC and show how dangerous it could be by conducting shocking experiments on animals, trying to prove that AC was harmful. In the end, Tesla's alternating current system won. It was more efficient and could be used on a larger scale. Westinghouse and Tesla's AC system was adopted for the future, and Edison's direct current became less popular. Despite this loss, Edison's work had already changed the world. His efforts helped make electricity a normal part of daily life, and his ideas about lighting and power plants were the foundation for the future. In the 1890s, Edison's curiosity turned to the idea of creating moving pictures. He believed that it was possible to capture images and project them onto a screen, making them come to life. He assembled a team of experts to help him develop the motion picture camera. This device was called the kinetoscope. In 1891, Edison's team succeeded in developing the kinetoscope, a machine that could display moving pictures. The first films shown on this device were simple, but they amazed people. It was the beginning of the film industry, and Edison's work played a major role in this new form of entertainment. However, Edison's success in the motion picture business did not last long. He was involved in many legal battles with other inventors and companies who claimed they had invented the motion picture camera first. Eventually, many of the advancements in film technology came from other people, but Edison's work in this area laid the groundwork for the motion picture industry. As Edison got older, he didn't slow down. He continued to work on new ideas and inventions. Even though he was no longer the young inventor he once was, his curiosity and passion for discovery never left him. In his later years, Edison focused on improving things that already existed. For example, he worked on making better storage batteries, which were used in everything from cars to radios. He also made improvements in the design of his power plants. Despite facing setbacks and failures, Edison always stayed positive. He believed that failure was just a step toward success. His attitude inspired many people, and he became a role model for other inventors and entrepreneurs. In his lifetime, Thomas Edison was granted over 1,000 patents for his inventions. This made him one of the most prolific inventors in history. He had a mind that never stopped working, always thinking of new ways to solve problems and improve the world. Thomas Edison passed away on October 18, 1931, at the age of 84. His death marked the end of an era, but his legacy lived on. His inventions continue to affect our lives every day. Edison's work in electricity, light, and motion pictures transformed the world in ways that no one could have imagined when he was a young boy in Milan, Ohio. His contributions to the modern world were incredible, and his curiosity and determination to make the world a better place left a lasting impact. Today, we still use many of the inventions that Edison created. The light bulb, the phonograph, the motion picture camera, and the power plants all came from his mind. Thomas Edison's legacy lives on in the technologies we use every day, and his work continues to inspire new generations of inventors. Many people now remember Edison not just as a great inventor, but also as someone who showed the world the power of perseverance. He didn't let failure stop him, and he didn't give up on his dreams. His life teaches us an important lesson. No matter how many times we fail, we should never give up on our passion. Success comes to those who keep trying. Thank you so much for watching. Edison's life teaches us an important lesson. Failure is just a step toward success. Don't let mistakes stop you. Keep trying, keep learning, and never give up on your dreams. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more amazing stories. Keep pushing forward, just like Edison did. See you next time, and remember, your success story is waiting.